The Legend of Satchmo is the second segment of the fourth episode of the third season of Rugrats, and it's not a bad episode at all, and there are a few things about it that I liked, but I will say for me personally, it wasn't that interesting, and I think the reason is because it's not brightly coloured. I know that sounds like a weird reason to not love it, but I like the bold colours of Rugrats, the bright animation, and often the attention to detail. Whereas this one, because it's set at night, it's quite dark, dimly lit, very atmospheric, and that's not the fault of the cartoon. It's just my personal preference when it comes to animations, especially when it's nostalgia, is something that more closely resembles the colours of Rugrats in the traditional brightly coloured colour palettes. But as a narrative, it's not too bad. Grandpa Lou is camping in the backyard with the babies. I do think they're maybe a little bit too young to go camping, particularly one adult and, 5 children, Tommy, Chuckie, Phil, Lil, and Angelica. But nevertheless, they go out, it's nighttime, it's dark, the sky is beautifully animated. Even though I might not prefer the more dimly lit nighttime scenes, the sky looks stunning. And it's very well animated. It is very well animated. The shadows, when we look towards the tent from being outside and we see the silhouettes of the characters, that looks brilliant. My point is, it's very well animated. There's nothing wrong with it. In fact, it's very good. It's just not my personal preference. But he tells a scary story. Grandpa Lou tells a scary story about, Sasquatch, but Satchmo, as the babies call it. And in the middle of the night, Chuckie gets up to go to the bathroom, and credit to Chuckie, he's actually quite brave. He is. And the other babies wake up while he's away and assume that he's gone looking for the Satchmo. For some reason, they feel like Chuckie's very uncharacteristic. And credit to the babies, they realise that Chuckie might be hurt or lost, and he can't go looking for the Satchmo by himself. So off they go and try and find him, and actually, not that much happens, to be perfectly honest. It's not as intense as it could have been. It's not as dramatic. It cuts back to Stu and Didi, mostly Stu. I like Stu's role in this. I won't say too much, just in case you either haven't seen the episode or can't remember what Stu did. But his involvement definitely helped to carry the narrative forward and made it a little bit more interesting. But honestly, I feel like not a lot happened. It was definitely more about the atmosphere than the action. And again, as I said, the atmosphere is good. It's very well animated, if that's the kind of thing you like. Or if you don't mind, the odd episode being set at night where things are a bit darker and not as bright and bold and vivid. The tent was very well animated, the camping things. Angelica's got a dummy bear sleeping bag, which I thought was adorable. The babies in their night clothing are so cute as well. So there were definitely things about it that I think worked well. There's nothing wrong with it at all, to be perfectly honest. But it's just never going to be a personal favourite. I don't remember it from my childhood. Maybe that's because it doesn't appeal to me too much, which is weird because horror is one of my favourite genres, and I like anything that's creepy in animation. But when it comes to Rugrats, because I love the nostalgia, I prefer things that remind me of bright, colourful Rugrats episodes. And unfortunately, this one just doesn't tick that box. But at the same time, I'm willing to admit that even not just is there nothing wrong with it, but actually it's not a bad episode. Could have had a bit more action, could have been a bit more interesting, but it was okay.